Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking another quick look at another Lightning Collection Power Rangers figure. This one is surprisingly the very first one Hasbro ever produced. Or at the very least, the first one they showed off. This is Mighty Morphin White, otherwise known, once again, as Tommy. But yeah, suffice to say, this guy is no longer going for retail. I had to pay a bit over the odds for him, but was a decent guy on eBay. He accepted my offer, and turns out he was a fan himself. So yeah, much appreciated to the guy I bought it off of. But yeah, basically this is the only one of the Mighty Morphin team that we are not 100% sure if he's getting a remastered figure or not. So I thought, just in case, I'll buy the original. And if they do bring out a remastered one, then this guy will get sold on to someone who wants him better than me. But yeah, now that we've got the usual waffle out of the way, let's take a look at the box. Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Mighty Morphin White, Hasbro logo. Nice picture of him on the side, continues round, and a render on the back that is quite deceptive actually, because they show the hand as having the up and down hinge, but it doesn't, so you can never get him into this pose, at least unless you get another figure's hands. But yeah, by the looks of it, this was a figure someone got sent out to them because of quality control issues, so it is a decent enough version of the figure, even though I do have a few slight nicks with it. But yeah, first things first, he comes with 2 pairs of hands, a pair of fists, and one gripping hand with, as I said, side to side hinge instead of the up and down, and the karate chop hand, which is rarer than you think. Not really sure why it came with white when it didn't come with red Zeo, considering red Zeo actually uses karate chop pose in his main poses. But yeah, got the ponytail version of Tommy, which again, this is back when they were doing the digital printing, so it actually looks pretty decent. It's a bit shiny, but you can get across the fact that that is Tommy, no doubt about that. And he comes with the sort of explosion effect that fits on Sabat just like that. So if you're slashing a putty or that, you see the explosion. I believe this is the same effect piece that came with Lord Draken. So yeah. And finally, you've got Saba, which is decently enough painted, I'll be honest. Hopefully we do get a remaster so that we get a better detailed Saba. The silver's there, nice shiny gold. It's even got the black on the back of the tiger head. The only problem is they painted the entire thing silver for some reason. I'm not sure why. Plus they've only painted one side of Saba's face. So yeah, it gets the point across. Decent enough. It's actually kinda solid plastic. So yeah, you can tell this is one of the first figures because the actual tolerances of the plastic are much better. I can actually take off the head with little issue. Putting this one on is a bit more tricky, but I will attempt to do it on camera for you. There we go. That's a bit of a tight crack, but yeah, does definitely get the point across. So yeah, let's get this back off. Noticeable pop. Yeah, that helmet goes on so much easier than the the figures we get now. My god. But yeah, in terms of details on the figure himself, it's actually quite nice. I do like it. The gold is quite accurate to the show. This one actually seems to have better proportions than most of the figures that came after it. Not sure why. For example, the arms seem thinner for some reason than figures that come after. As you can see there. Even the joint seems to be longer, so it does give more range of motion. The shield piece is a separate rubbery piece, so it gets out the way mostly. But yeah, in terms of paint apps, I've got a couple issues. Missing a bit of gold paint up there. See if I can maybe get a gold Sharpie and paint that in. Tiny bit of black paint missing on the visor. And slightly sloppy paintwork on the black for the shield. Parts missing, such and such. But the only reason I'm nitpicking so much is because I paid a bit over the odds for it. But it's not the guy's fault. He was just, well, he sold it for less than what a brand new boxed one would be, and it was brand new in box. So yeah, I'm still happy with it. So yeah, the gold is actually more accurate to the show than the figure arts was, which is surprising. I think even the head is more accurate. It's probably one of the most accurate head sculpts they've ever done, and it was one of the first ones to be made. So you can't help but wonder if Hasbro were being a bit diabolical with it. Is that the right word? Where if they made the original figures perfect, everyone would jump on the line and then they could bring down the quality. But that's just me being cynical. But yeah, in terms of articulation, actually pretty good, pretty solid. The helmet, being on the old school, can look up really far actually. Can look down decently enough. I think because this head it's not on as strong a peg, like the tolerances are better, you can actually pull the head up slightly to give him a neck, compared to figures that came after. The arms, surprisingly, can get right up against the torso, which no figure after that's been able to do except for the remastered figures. So yeah, arms can get out that far. Butterfly can move most of the way around. Bicep swivel. Double joint at the elbow, which, because it's thinner cut, gets really good range. Like, none of the other figures I've reviewed of this line can get anywhere close to that. Standard hinge on the wrist. Standard diaphragm joint. You can get some nice forward, back, side to side. Waist joint can go back really far to the point that he's broken his back. Really far forward. Legs can get just shy of 90. Double joint at the knees, again, pretty much the full range. Boot cut, and Hasbro's signature boot cut, which gives him pretty much unlimited range as long as you're careful with it, because it will snap. But yeah, definitely a decent release. For the very first release that came out of this line, like, they couldn't have done it better, I'll be honest. Pretty much everything is accurate. At the very least, to the American footage. The Sentai footage was obviously a bit different because it was a literal child that played it. So he was shorter in that. But yeah, in terms of like value for money, I wouldn't really say he's worth as much as I paid, but he's one of the best figures in the line, without a doubt. Like, well worth it, in my opinion. So yeah, quick little thing here before we go. There you have it. Now Zeo Red, as the box calls him, has his proper pose. You should have came with that to begin with. Just need some red Sharpie